Been nice, Lloyd. Been, I think it was 62, 63 here today. I'll take that for November weather any day. Hopefully the weekend stays nice. We're going to try and get to the track again one more time. Oh, no shit. There's a little chance of rain, I thought, but yeah, we're going to take the El Camino. Blazer ain't quite ready yet. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, we're going to start getting shit done to her, though, pretty soon. Time to start working on it. I can't do much more to the El Camino. I'm going to order, we're going to get a new grill and blinker bezels, and I'm going to put the chrome moldings on the El Camino over the winter, and we're going to start on the interior. But other than that, until I get that engine from Dave over at Dave's Collision, that 400 small block, we're just going to leave the engine alone. That way I can still back it in and out, and ain't no sense of tearing it apart. I want to tear it apart. Yeah, I've actually had a guy that does roundy rounds offer to buy it. Just a short block. I get to keep the heads, the intake, carb, distributor. He just wants the 377, the bottom end. And they offered me pretty good money and a 355 for it. Or a 40 over, so a 358. Fully built. So I'm really thinking about doing it. Because we want to build an engine for Jenny for when we find her a car. So I tell you what, man, that place that I took mine to, I mean, it was reasonable, and they did a hell of a nice job. They went, it was an 056 wall stock, and I got an 088 wall, 3.5 inch for just under $400. And they used the better Spicer U joints and shit. So yeah, it took the vibration rate out of that car. It was weird about the whole deal too, because I told him, I says, because I thought he was bullshitting me, just trying to sell me a drive shaft, I said, probably just a rebalance. I said, there ain't no way that thing is bent. And I said, there ain't even a stone chip in it, I got new U joints in it. And it was twisted in the middle. They had it right on the balancer and showed me. It spun that little meter or on their dial indicator that they have on both sides. That gauge went, that place in Iona said 300 is what better. How thick though? Is it a 3.5 inch? The thicker wall. You'll never have to buy another one. I wish if I was going to keep racing the El Camino and put the trans brake back in it, and all that good shit, then I would have went with an aluminum lightweight drive shaft for a little bit more money. But like I said, I don't want to twist that car up now that we finally got the body whipped into shape. after about 13 fucking years owning it. Finally got it the way I want it.
Still out here filling up your tires, man.
Terrence out there filling up his tires. He lives in an apartment complex and they're on his ass about his car sitting out there with flat tires. Yeah, your shop looks pretty cool, man. I don't know why in the hell that message didn't ding in my messenger. I was scrolling through and all of a sudden I seen your name like towards the bottom of the page, Lloyd. And there was a bunch of pictures and I opened it up and fuck, it looks good in there. All the beer signs, the racing signs and all that shit hanging up. Hell yeah, man. It looks awesome in there. I'm jealous, dude. That's what it's all about, man. I mean, if you got a dedicated drag car, then cool. I know some people think, it's, I'm kind of retarded for, I don't know. I've had different opinions in the past. People give me their opinions. We already got that one set up, blah, blah, blah. I don't understand why you just, because, I just got it appraised for $30,000 and I don't want to crash it or somebody else crash into me and lose it. You know what I mean? So I'll find a dedicated drag car like the Blazer, and then we're going to find some old beat up Cutlass or Monty or Regal or something like that for Jenny. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as the frame's solid and the body mounts and shit, I can work with all the other shit. The rust is just weight reduction, so it's got a little rust on it. Oh well. Put a nice motor trans in it. Just something stock-ish, and let her go out and have some fun. I got enough parts laying around here. If she gets more comfortable, we can always build it up. One thing nice about them small block Chevys, man, you can always, keep doing stuff to them at a reasonable rate. And I tell you, man, that big block is just everything I priced out for that thing is just fucking $1,000, $1,000. Holy shit. Everything's $1,000. What's that saying they used to have on the boats? When you buy a boat, with boats bust out another 1,000. That's the way I feel about this big block build, man. It's like, holy fuck. Hey, LP94, what's up, man? What's going on? Just sitting here shooting the shit. I figured I'd come on. I just came in from the shop and got some dinner and figured I'd come on. I haven't been live in a while. Figured I'd come on and shoot the shit for a while. See what everybody's up to. Why, you don't want that 406, Lloyd? If I do this deal with this other guy, on that 358, it's got supposedly it's got forged crank, H-beam rods, SRP high dome pistons, which with the open chamber head would be around 10 to 1, somewhere in there. Basically the same setup as what that 377 is. But if you want something more cruisable, shit, maybe I'll make you a deal. Give you some cash and another short block. I'll make sure it's a good short block too. I'll make sure all the bearings and all that shit's good to go. Have you a brand new motor again, and you can keep your heads and all that good shit. Your roller cam set up and just put it in a 355 or it's a 358, I guess it would be 40 over. I should have kept that other 400 that I had, but because if I blow that big block up, I'm going to build a 427 small block. Oh yeah, LS and the S10. Oh yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I don't know if you watched that last video I just did, but when I drained the float bowls on the carburetor, and did that jet change, I left there's probably about, maybe a quarter inch of fuel in the bottom of that container. Hey, Mark, what's happening? And it sat on the bench for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I just left it on the bench and it evaporated all the fuel, and then what was left in the bottom of that cup or bottle looked like fucking tar. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I mean, if you got rid of that 406 Lloyd, I would definitely keep the cam and lifters and uh, the heads and all that shit, and then just build another short block. You know what I mean? Something easier, and then drop the compression. Obviously, that way you ain't got to run the 110 race fuel no more. You can just pump gas in it. Like I said, this is supposedly a newer build, and like I said, we could. I mean, if it's something that you're interested in, if it happens over the winter, maybe we could do something, and I'll make sure it's. I'll go through it, the bottom end, make sure all the bearings and shit are good, and all that good shit. Because that's what the one thing we want to do with the El Camino is just cruise it. If we want to take it down to our hometown of Port Huron, which is 2 hours, 2.5 hours away, we could take that down for their cruises. Hey, Bill, what's going on, brother? Yeah, that fucking fuel, man. I was just talking about it on here. I used to go out to Beaverton and get that VP racing fuel, and I love that fuel. I ran that fuel for years and years and years, and well, they switched it over to Dragon racing fuel or some shit, and they wanted $10 a gallon. So I found another spot over there in Saginaw that deals in race fuel right at the pump there, because I don't. So if you go to a gas station and just try to buy the 5 gallons, shit, they charge you an extra $25 just for the VP racing can. I already got probably 5, 6 of them metal cans. I don't need no more. I'm not paying an extra $25 just for a gas can. So I like to go to the stations that just have it right at the pump. And but it's still only, I think I paid what was it, $8.23 or something a gallon last time I got it. But yeah, if it's gonna do that from sitting for 2 weeks, imagine what the bottom of your float bowls and jets and all that shit are gonna look like. Because I don't start my cars in the winter. I mean, I'll probably have to run the fuel right out of it. Like Bill was saying, he messaged me and said, I'd just run the fuel out of it. There ain't much fuel in it from last time at the track. Terrence MF Boyer.
Tyler's car though.
Yeah, but he's still driving it. He said he's got one more street race to go. I don't know when, but we got Cam in the house. What's going on?
I can't see the string though.
Yeah, you got to try and save some money, brother. That's what I'm doing. I just got my my big. You're all froze up, Terrence. He's sitting in the Suburban. I just got my big Summit bill paid off. That was $4,000, and let me tell you, it was a struggle, man. Because the way Summit Racing works, guys, is that if they give you 18 months or 2 years, 24 months promotion to pay off whatever you charge. And if not, you got to pay interest all the way back to the date of the purchase. And it's 29.9, high ass interest rate. So Infamous Nova, what's going on, brother? So I was like, man, hell with that. So, I mean, I had till, what was it, October 28th? Yeah, I had till the 28th of October to pay the rest of it off. So I sold my camper and got a bonus. the missus got her bonus from work, and we just put it right straight towards that and paid the son of a bitch off. So you know what that means now? Mama's getting a new camper in the spring. And she said, yep. Oh, man, I need a haircut from hell. Still froze up, brother. Nope, it's not yet. Soon, hopefully we're gonna try and go this weekend. And it's supposed to be nice. And I actually messaged a guy from Ubley. I really don't want to take it to Lapeer. I don't like Lapeer. I mean, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Since they redid that track, it's 8th Mile, and I think it's too narrow myself. But I got a message out to Ubley because they told me that Test and Tune is going to be open until weather permitting. So I'm only got a 150 shot in it now. It goes up to 250. So I'm just going to start out with the 150, the baby steps, and check my fueling and check the plugs and make sure everything's good to go. And I think 150 should do pretty good on that car, actually. I mean, it's already breaking shit. We broke the ladder bars and all kinds of shit on it over the summer. So now that the body's done, I don't want to keep twisting it up. Yeah, I seen the Camaro still plaguing you a little bit, huh, Cam? Man, I'd love to have that Nova, brother. That Nova, or I know you'll never get rid of Frostbite, but Frostbite's always been my boy. But I used to have a 70 SS Nova. I'd like to get it down into the mid to low 10s again. It ran a high 10 before on motor. That was back when it had a trans brake. It had 456 gears in it. And, I took all that shit out of it, had a different cam setup in it, and tamed it down. No, there ain't no anti-roll bar in it either. But, the best the car's ever been was a 1080. But I think last year when we took it, oh, shit. No, it might have been the year before. It ran in to mid to high 11s. So it is what it is. So if I can get, if I can squeeze 150 shot on it and, do a 1050 with it, I'd be happy. Yeah, I know, Cam. The car is pretty sweet, man. What year that is? What year's that? That's a 70, ain't it, or 71? Hey, Gordon, what's happening? Yeah, Terrence, you just wait till you get back in there. You're all good, brother. 72. Hell yeah. I don't know if you ever seen pictures of my the 70 I had. See, I had a tubbed out S10 before. I had a 70 SS Nova that was all tubbed out, and nothing 4-link though. All of them had ladder bar setups on them. Even the El Camino's ladder bar. So this new 4-link thing is kicking my ass. Trying to learn it. I'm getting there, but it's just. You ever have that feeling where you hate to depend on other people for your own shit? So there's my 70, Cam. That was back in 1990. Had a 406 in it, small block Chevy with a Power Glide. It had a Doug Nash 5-speed in it before I bought it, but he took it out. Yeah, you can tell that was the old school paint job. The back half red and then the blue stripe and then the white front. It was kind of cool. Got my first drunk driving in that car. Stupid son of a bitch. Open headers, no headlights, no taillights. 1 o'clock in the morning, I pulled it out of the garage and was doing hole shots up and down the street and we lived in the city. And I think the neighbors didn't appreciate that. And they called the hooskow on me. And oh, shit. Back in the dumb days. Has the Muncie 4-speed? Hell yeah. Yeah, you got that right. The turbos are taking over. Oh, yeah, I was young and dumb, Cam. I had to argue with the missus to move her car out of the way so I could get it out of the garage, and she kept telling me no. And finally, she's like, you know what? You go to jail, don't fucking call me, she says. Guess what? Half hour later, I was in jail. Back then, it ran 11s, 11 O's. Was the best I could ever get out of it. It had like, what the fuck? It had 31 1550s on it. 538 gears. The big 9-inch Ford. Yeah, she would go through the trap screaming about 7,500. Tried so hard to get that damn thing in the 10s. Because, I mean, if you had a 10-second car back in the late 80s to early 90s, you were a bad motherfucker. I'm just saying. Especially all motor. Back then, all the people I hung out with and worked on cars with and in the shop, we used to make fun of people that had nitrous on their shit. We had a saying that only babies need bottles. Oh, yeah, she came got me after 12 hours. Yeah, but I told the cop's like, well, you got anything to say? And I was in the back seat handcuffed, and I'm looking between the seats, and I says, man, that thing looks badass from the back, don't it? I mean, you can see the wheelie bars and two 15.5-inch slicks hanging out. I wasn't even, I think, what was it? I blew a .09 or some shit like that, just barely over the limit. I wasn't even drunk, you know what I mean? But according to their machine. But yeah, I was pretty fucking stupid for taking it out that late. I knew better, but I had a friend over there, and you know how it goes. You're out in the garage bullshitting, and one thing led to another, and here we are trying to do wheelies on the street at 1 a.m. Yeah, that was a fun day. First time I ever been to jail in my whole life. But they didn't tow my car. That was cool. They actually let the buddy went down to my other neighbors, the cool neighbor, get the tow strap in my truck, and then they towed it back to the house. So they could have impounded it. And back then, the tow yards were pricks. I mean, they would go through your shit. If you had something nice in your car, they would take it, or a carburetor even probably. I mean, they were some pretty shady sons of bitches back then. Not all of them, but some tow companies. Will I ever go turbo? I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for that infamous Nova. I'm old school. I mean, I might not look that old, but I'm 50, which probably ain't very old to some people on here. But I don't know. I think there's not a lot of maintenance involved with turbos, and turbos are taking over. But if I was to ever have the money to build something that wasn't naturally aspirated or nitrous, simple nitrous setup, I'd probably go with a Pro Charger, to tell you the truth, instead of a blower. That's just my opinion. I don't like the heat that they put off. They take up a lot of room. 9 times out of 10, you got to run a little itty bitty radiator. Hey, Glenn, what's up? Mr. Mach 1 in the house. No, they didn't. They didn't give a shit. They'd drag that son of a bitch on the trailer and park, or on their flatbed. But I mean, like I said, I'm not knocking turbos, infamous Nova. I mean, they do make hell of power. I don't know. Like I said, I think I'd go Pro Charger. What the hell? I think I'd go Pro Charger instead of that. Or Roots blower. Jenny's dad, he's in the small block Chevys, big block Chevys. Shit, he's got probably 3-4 blowers, 871s, just sitting around for decorations. From intake all the way up to carburetors, linkages. That's all he run was the old 871 blowers. And he had some pretty fast shit. He had a 70 El Camino. It had a 350 in it. Forged bottom end. And had 871 on it, man. And that thing would dust a lot of cars' asses. I understand. I feel the same way. That Pro Charger does cost. Yeah, it does. But like I'm saying, but you got to take into consideration somebody like us. Hey, Tommy, what's up? Somebody like us or me. I mean, I don't know everybody's finances, but even to do a turbo build, you got the fuel system, you got the Terminator X. There's a lot of cost involved with that also. So I don't know. I guess I'm just stuck in my ways. I'm stuck back in the late 80s. I still got my parachute pants on, doing the Michael Jackson. What is that? The moon dance?
Moonwalk.
No, the moonwalk. There you go. Been busy here. What's been going on, Tommy? We got Terrence MF Boyer in the hizzy.
Yep. Terrence motherfucking Fat Boyer.
Shit, you don't talk fat, man. People like me get offended.
I resemble that remark.
I'm fat too.
I resemble that remark.
I've actually been listening, man.
We are attraction. We'll say that.
Yeah, we've been. I've been to the track twice this year, I guess. So I haven't been as busy as you. We took the El Camino to the Bay Cities Rollers. Or no, I actually been 3 times because I went to US 131. We went to Ubley. I went to Ubley twice. But we only took the El Camino to Ubley once, and then we took the Boys Monty to see what it would run. Tommy, and that damn thing surprised the shit out of me. A little 355 with the baby RV cam in it. It went 1280 off the trailer, and he got it down to 1262 at 108.9 or some shit. Almost 109 mile an hour. So his first time ever at the track. Hello, Terrence from Gordon.
What's up, Gordon?
Know them days
that
caught.
is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it was very consistent. I mean, pass after pass after pass after he got the hang of it. I mean, he must have ran that thing 10 times, and it was all 1060s. Besides, if he'd spin a little bit up there when it started getting cold or whatever. So that'd be a hell of a bracket car. Dial that thing at 1262 or 1263, and hit the shift points, and that thing would be deadly. Yeah, he did real good, Glenn, for his first time there. Besides the hood blowing off the fucking roof and cracking it. I don't know if you guys seen that on Jenny posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
It was windier than shit.
You guys didn't even know what happened.
I said, yeah, we didn't. I said, you need to, because he had still running the air cleaner at first. I said, take the air cleaner off, let that thing breathe. So I said, but we need to put the hood on the ground next to the trailer. That way that wind don't grab it. Well, we just forgot all about it and sat it on the roof anyway, and whew, there she went flying. Eric, Herb, keep doing what you're doing. That's what I like. Carburetors and MSD stuff like crank trimmers and valve trains. Hell yeah. Like I said, I'm like one of them old dogs. I'm just set in my ways, I guess. I guess I don't want to go real fast. You got to have.
You don't want to give yourself a heart attack.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what this Blazer brings. And I think that Blazer is going to surprise a lot of people, just what it has. We worked on our 632 car this year, actually won the whole race. Oh, no shit. Awesome, Tommy. Hell yeah. Yep. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, turbo builds are cool. I mean, like I said, there's different folks or different strokes for different folks. And I don't know, if I don't feel comfortable or if it intimidates me, like on, me stepping out of my comfort zone, I guess that's kind of where I'm sitting. Plus, like Ty, we had that turbo for Ty's car, and we were going to hook up with Josh and, have Josh help us do the hot side and the cold side. But we started just looking at shit over, and it's just, there's not a lot of room. You know what I mean? And I know Josh, he put an LS and a turbo and an RX-7, so he could make room. But
he put it in a Fiero too.
Yeah. So, he's got mad skills, but, just the heat thing of it, and Tyler drives the shit out of that car. So, on my half, I've always been NA, but I guess I've never been in the 9s yet. So I guess that's where we got to start looking into bigger, badder things. But I never had a badass big block either. If that Blazer don't go in the fucking 9s, I'm going to take it out back and bury that son of a bitch. I'll leave it for the next owner of the house. They'll go dig a fire pit or something. They'll find a whole Blazer under there.
Why don't you just put it in your yard like the Cadillac Range?
Yeah, just everything. Shit, I started adding up, man, when I was out in the garage just farting around, and I started adding shit up already. I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, once you get in that $10,000 to $20,000 range, you're like, I'm not counting no more. I'm done.
You're already there, dude.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Once you hit those numbers, you're like, I don't want to know anymore. Ignorance is bliss.
You got 10,000 into the chassis and the body. You got 10 grand wrapped up into the engine already, and it still needs a camshaft intake. I want to change some shit out on it too.
He said, "Don't do that."
What?
Start adding stuff up, I guess.
Or burying it.
That too.
Yeah, they do. I had the El Camino for 14 years, and I've always put something into it, always tinkering with it. Went through 3 motor combinations already. Three rear ends, different gear sets, two trannies. I had 4 different people do body work on it and got it shoved up my ass out of 3 of them. So yeah. And then, finally we got the body good, and we got it appraised where I can get the right insurance on it. So it appraised at 30, so I'm pretty happy with that. Hey, thanks, Eric. I appreciate it, and thank you, Tommy. We just hit 2K subscribers not too long ago.
It was over the weekend, wasn't it?
Terrence?
Was it about Thursday or Friday when it hit?
Yeah, something like that. And me and the missus are trying to figure out something whether to put a little video together, and then whoever leaves a comment on it, or maybe a live feed and draw numbers, or do something to try and give back a little bit. But it took, we've been doing this for 2 years, so. Yeah, like I said, it took 14 years to get to where the El Camino's at, and it's still, this winter we're going to start working on the interior a little bit. I'm going to put a new grill in it, and the chrome blinker bezels that go around the front marker lights, and then wheel wall chromes that we're putting on it. Now that it's all black, I want to kind of break it up a little bit with the grill's broke, so it needs a new grill. And then the headlight bezels, or the blinker bezels, somebody painted them back in the day, so they're supposed to be chrome. I think that would help out. And then Dave over at Dave's Collision there, he told me that take the hood off it and bring it back to him, and he's going to put some SS stripes on it for me. But I don't know whether if I should go with the original white SS stripes like came on that car, or kind of go with the gray since somebody painted the interior gray. Like a lightish, like a light, almost like a ghost stripe. You'd have to really look for the stripe would be there, but not really noticeable until you get right up on it. But so it's still taking money out of our pocket. But the way we look at it, it's an investment. I mean, because before, when we have full coverage on it, but it's through our State Farm. And I've asked them guys, what if something happened, what are you going to pay me for this car? Well, what's Kelly Blue? Kelly Blue Book on a 71 El Camino SS? They're not going to pay you shit then, So we had an appraisal done on it in order to get paid. You know what I mean? If something does, heaven forbid, something does happen. You want to get some kind of insurance on it. So we're going to go through Haggerty next spring. Only thing bad about Haggerty is they want the payment for the whole year up front. But I think it was $689 a year for insured up to $30,000 for what the appraisal was worth. So
that's not bad though.
No, if you break that down into monthly payments, it's, it ain't bad, like $50-$60 a month. There's 12 months in a year, so half of, $600 or $700, divide that by 12. Or I don't know. I'm not a very good mathematician either.
Can build a fucking motor, but can't do math.
Holy shit! You do monthly on Haggerty? How the fuck's that work? Everybody I've talked to up here says it's yearly here. I mean, you think Haggerty would be Haggerty no matter what state we're in.
Well, I mean, you also got to look at living in the city compared to living out in the country. You got a higher risk of your shit being stolen in the city than you do out in the sticks.
Yeah, we got flood insurance. People don't, and because we're close to the bay and people. Yeah, I get it, but well, you got all your cars insured through there, Cam? You got the Malibu insured through Farmers for 20, Lloyd? Is that what you mean? Okay, gotcha. Cool, Cam. Oh, yeah, because when State Farm, we had to send pictures of the car. We're about 30 minutes, Tommy. Yeah, they pay pretty fast. I just built that engine in my buddy's 70 Challenger RT, and that car is worth like 70, 80 grand. And he had a backfire, had a 6-pack set up on it. He had a backfire or something happened there. It caught on fire. And shit, they paid for, they gave him 16 grand and had the whole engine compartment all redone, all new wiring in the car, all new carburetors, paid somebody to redo the gasket on the engine. So I've heard good things about Haggerty. They don't dick you over. Parents, you're being tough.
I know. I saw what he typed that in while you were still talking. Gordon, I have a 1985 Monte Carlo SS. It's all original, 84,000 miles. Still has. I mean, it's completely factory. The only thing that's not factory on it right now is when I got it, the headliner was completely missing, and I took the original wheels off and put original IROC wheels on it, not the aftermarket, repros or nothing like that. Just legitimate Camaro IROCs on it. Thanks, envious. I also have a 79 El Camino. It's already been notched in the back for mini tub and all that stuff. I got to weld the floor pan in. It doesn't have any springs on it, so it's sitting on suspension and everything like that. So I got to do some suspension work to it. I don't know what motor I'm going to put into it. I have options. I have a race motor that I've been talking to Herb about building for the past year and a half that I haven't got any parts list for because I've been lazy. Also, that shit costs money. So
Yeah.
Not only that, I got a 5.3 long block LM7 truck motor that I can throw in it too. Order a nasty cam, and I have a 98 millimeter turbo sitting next to I stub my toe on this fucking turbo, getting into bed every single night. So I could do a couple different things. I can build this. The race motor I was talking about is a 1978 350 out of a K5 Blazer, 4-bolt main. It's already been bored 60 over. Already has the rods and pistons and everything, the rotating assembly in there. But that's it. It's just a short block. It's even got new freeze plugs in it. But other than that, I don't have nothing else for it. Don't have heads, cam, intake, nothing. That's what I've been trying to bounce off of. That's what I've been trying to bounce off of Herb's head the past couple times. But I've been lazy and haven't gotten no parts numbers and haven't figured out the direction I needed to go and want to go. So, but yeah, I got the 85 Monte Carlo. I have the 79 El Camino that it was somebody's project car. So I got to put it all back together, kind of how Herb was with the Blazer. And I have a 1991 Caprice Classic, a Chevy Caprice Classic that my grandpa just turned 94, and he still has a driver's license. It's like Dick Clark effect. Like he hasn't aged past 65. You know what I mean? He still looks like he's 65. He still does things like he's 65. But he had a 91 Caprice when I was a kid. He bought a brand new, saved up for years to get this car because he knew the model was coming out, so he wanted to get it. The first one he got we got in an accident and got totaled, got T-boned by an F-150. And then he got a different car from insurance and then traded that in, got another Caprice. And my grandma had a brain tumor. So he sold that car to pay for her surgery, her brain surgery. And ever since he got rid of that second one, he's been talking about one. So I got one out there for him. It's got the 305 in it. Yeah, Lloyd, that's the best thing to do. I mean, he had a job. He lives at a retirement community. He's not in the nursing home part itself. They have like separate cottages, like 1-bedroom apartment type things, and he still lives in that by himself. But up until about 3 years ago, he had a job over there going and replacing light bulbs and air filters and stuff. He used to be an electrician on a Fort McKinley in the Korean War. SS Fort McKinley. So, him staying active actually is, it just goes to show you. Just stop sitting on your ass, get up and do something. But I got that car for him. I'm going to tweak on a few things. I'm going to go toss. The TBI has given me problems. It won't stay running. I mean, it'll fire off and go down the street, whatever. But it'll just randomly die and won't fire back up. It's not a fuel issue because I hardwired a toggle switch to the factory fuel pump. So even with that switch on, it'll still die off. So what I did is I have a set of BBK headers that are for a 94 to 96 Impala. Same style as that car, the round body. So I'm going to throw those on. I'm going to get rid of that intake and that TBI system. I have a Edelbrock Performer intake, and I have a sitting under me right now in a box in the bathroom. That just goes to show you. A brand new ABS2 Edelbrock carburetor that's going to go on it. So I plan on having that done. That way he can cruise it and have something to, cruise for the rest of his life.
Nickel. Mr. Chevy Tripping Nichols in the house. What's going on, brother? Yeah, Glenn, it seems like Tyler build videos when we started building that Monte Carlos, his besides, I did a couple DIY videos that did pretty good, but Tyler's Monte Carlo, just people love that shit. His was 6.5K on the one when we finished up the 355 for that video I did. So I think that was my highest video that I'm seeing. But all his Monte Carlo videos did real good. Yeah, that car is, I told him it'd be a good bracket car. He wanted to get into bracket racing. He's like, I don't give a shit about the trophies. Put me in the money. But
put him in with the shit talkers.
Yeah, I mean, like I was just telling these guys earlier, Chevy, he probably made 10 runs that day, and they were all in the 1060s. Besides a couple of them, they went 1080 off the trailer, but that was his first time ever being down a drag strip. And we were, I told him, I said, Ty, don't expect a lot, because I was thinking, low 13, maybe a 1350, something like that out of it. When the time come up on the old the tower there and it said 1280, I was like, holy fuck, sweet. So yeah, he did good, and then he just kept getting faster, and he had over a half a tank of fuel in it with a stock fuel tank. So I don't know how many gallons that was. So I think we could have got it into the 1250s, with it, a couple gallons of fuel in it, and took some weight out of the back. But it ran good for the camshaft that was in it, man. I mean, it just surprised the shit out of me, because I mean the camshaft's only rated to like 6,300. Something like that. It's not a big cam. I mean, it's basically a tow rig cam is what it is. I mean, it's like on my video, I kind of was just going off the top of my head what I thought. I thought it said it was like a 248 or something like that, but it's only like a 223 because I found the cam card. It's on my bulletin board out in the shop, and it's only like a 223, 234 at 50. So that's even smaller yet. But it is a 480, 488 lift, but the duration, is only at 50 is like 223, 238, something like that. And I was like, holy shit. But yeah, we got the combination. Like, I've always told them that it's not just about your engine. You got to have the right converter, the right trans, the right rear end, right tire. It all has to work together. It's on a intake center line is a 106 and lobe separation is a 110. Yeah, it all works together, and it worked. When we were building it, I wouldn't let him buy cheap junk bullshit. You know what I mean? I've been down that road. It doesn't work. He had a good job. He's a MIG welder. I said, just let's do it this way. I said, it'll work. Don't cheap out on the shit. You buy once, you cry once. I believe in that shit. You buy something cheap that's, the nothing against eBay bullshit, but I like the name brand shit. You know what I mean? It's tried and true. He was trying to go on eBay and buy some used camshaft off of this guy. Oh, it made 600 horsepower. And no, dude, we'll go this route. And it was his first hot rod too. I didn't want him to build him a badass, go kill himself until it, he's 22 years old. He's never had nothing fast. He thought the full size Chevy I sold him was fast with the 5.3 in it. Yeah, and it did. It took us. You guys seen how long it took us. It took us a minute to get the build done, but at the end, when he drove it out of here, he showed his girlfriend was next to him at the stoplight. Man, his cheeks were up here. Man, he was smiling so hard. The first night he got to take it home and shit, I was worried to death when it left the house. I ain't lying. I'm like, oh man, here it goes. It's leaving. And I could hear him going down the road. I said, just take it easy, get it broke in. It was already broke in, but I just told him that. And plus I set the timing like at 32 degrees for him at first. So I kind of made it piggish for him. I put the 600 Edelbrock on it. But
choked her out.
Yeah, I tell you what, that 750 Brawler carburetor woke that thing up. I mean, it made it sounded totally different. It idled different. I mean, just the sound out of the it's got 3-inch exhaust on it. Just the sound of it. I mean, by switching carburetors, I know that the little Edelbrock carburetor, they got the little baby, throttle Venturis and shit on it, but I knew it would do, it'd be better with a 750. But yeah, it did. It woke that little thing up. Yeah, he does some hood rat shit up here in our area, and shit, he was number 3 on the list. He's beating brand new Z06 Corvettes in the 8th mile. If they were going to go anything longer, he'd get his ass dusted, but they can't catch him in the 8th. The way that car leaves, I had to have him buy springs over the summer because it was leaving so hard. It was picking the front end up and doing the G-body, it was coming up on the driver's side front, dropping the passenger side rear, and then it would come over and grab the passenger or the driver's side rear tire and just chew the shit out of it. So, I mean, all this twisting that car was doing, you know how many tenths that is? That's probably a couple tenths.
The old G-body shuffle.
Mustang Mike. What's up, brother? I got a proven cam for that combo, 560. I know you do. Who's this Yang Blanco? How you doing? She's here for you, Turn.
Nope. You me take care of it?
Take care of it. Mr. Mike, how's everything going? Thanks for the thumbs up. But I don't know none of that other virtual hug and yeah, it's got to, you know what to do. Yeah, Mike, I've been reading on them the 4-links at night and stuff, trying to, the instant center and your anti squats, your line on your anti squat from your crank line center. And let me ask you a question, Mike. See, can you answer this? I'm sure you can, but when you run a slick and bias ply tire, do you want it to squat or separate? With a slick or like that Hoosier QuickTime Pro? Trying to figure it out, Terrence?
Yeah, but it's not letting me actually kick him out. Give me everything else.
Goodbye. I thought you were a moderator.
I am, but it's not letting me. Here, I'll show you. It says go to the channel, report, remove, put user in timeout, unhide user on this channel because I already hit her. Well, the thing was, it's not giving me, when I hit remove, it's not doing nothing else. So I did every other option besides go to the channel.
Yeah, because she commented like twice more after. I think it was one of them porn site type. I don't know how in the hell they come on this bullshit.
I don't know. That's why I asked you. Do you want me to take care of it?
Yeah.
I already know what you meant.
Unless she wants to get up live on here and we don't need none of that shit.
No.
Yeah, because the way I took it, when we were talking, if you're going to run a radial, Mike, that's when you want to have it separate. But then again, I was talking to somebody and they said that I would want, if I'm going to run it on like a no prep or a street, you would want, even if you're running slicks, you would want it to separate. But even over the years on my, I've had leaf springs or ladder bars on my Tub Out Nova, my S10. Back in the day, they were all ladder bars. So the 4-link shit's all new to me. And I never heard of that, back in the 80s, nothing about separation and all that. But I just wanted to know, because I know you ran a 4-link on your Mustang, like you said, for years, and you were confident at tuning it. And my chassis guy wants to set it up because he asked me, what are you going to run, slicks or radials? I said, well, we're going to run slicks or the bias ply Hoosier Pros, but, tube types. And he says, okay, then we're going to set it up to where you're going to get squat. It's going to drop the ass in when you leave. And I don't know, maybe I misinterpreted on what, but I don't know. Like I said, this is all new to me. I feel kind of stupid talking about it because I hate talking about shit that I don't know nothing about. You know what I mean? But I have to learn it. So I've been doing my research on it because I don't want to rely on somebody. Hey, man, how do I tune my truck or tune a wheelie out? You know what I mean? So I got to learn instant center and, your anti-squat lines and your bar angles because, what it is your bar angles, you draw an imaginary line to your instant center. And your instant center is from the bottom of your rear tire up to your center of your crank. And then where they cross, that's your anti-squat line. Anything above that line is over 100% anti-squat, which will give you separation. Anything below that line is less than 100%, which would give you squat. So that's what I've come up with so far. But how that all means, and I don't know. But I've been doing quite a bit of research on it. Actually, I spent like 4 hours reading last night. So I do read. I can read, motherfuckers. Remember a show that was awful?
Mm-mm.
Boys in the Hood. Little Trey.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah, I've watched Kevin Wilson's videos for a long time, and and it's kind of because the person I was talking to about it, because that questioned me about if I was doing the right thing on the squat, because he seen my video and he messaged me and said, "Are you sure you want to go that route? Your chassis guy, I know he knows what he's doing, but." I'm like, well, maybe I misinterpreted him. And he asked about Kevin Wilson. So I went back and I started going through his older videos last night also. And he even said, when slicks and bias fly, run and squat, But on his, he was making a point that you can run over 100% anti-squat to give you separation with a slick. So it was kind of, I don't know, it was 50-50. But I guess until we get out there and let the button off it for the first time, and we ain't going to know. I mean, I trust my chassis builder. He's been doing it a long time. Like I said, when people are figuring out how to put a V8 in an S10, these boys were putting, big block Chevys in them. So I trust him. He wouldn't be in business doing what he's doing. And that chassis on that Blazer is badass. In the next video, you guys see it. I'm going to actually put lighting underneath, and I'm going to take it from the front to the back and show the whole chassis, how they got it all X'd in and all the seats, because everything in that, you would think about it, you're like, how would you bolt a seat in on a tube chassis, chromoly tube chassis, and it's only sheet metal floor. You'd think you get in an accident, you're going to rip them bolts right through that sheet metal. Well, I got underneath there and looked, and, because back in the day when, all my stuff, like I said, was ladder bars, but they were just back half shit. You know what I mean? There wasn't full tube chassis. Exactly. You can tell what by what you're seeing, Glenn. But from where the seat mounts and all that shit, man, he's got like 2x2 blocks of steel welded to the chassis, to where the seat goes through. So the seat's actually mounted to the chassis. It ain't just mounted to the floor, which it'd be kind of stupid. Yeah, I can't wait, man. Like I said, I just got my Summit paid off, and I'm gonna start getting a little shit here and there. Like I got to order my camshaft and some wiring shit, and then I already got the chromoly drive shaft that came with the truck. So, but my next big purchase that I'm not looking forward to before Christmas, I was trying to wait till after Christmas to do it, but it ain't going to happen that way. Is I'm getting them headers built, because that's the next big thing. And I kind of fucked myself is because he told me, he's like, well, I told him what I did. I said, well, I put cast iron heads on the engine because the engine's got to come back out after I get it back from you, and I got to go through it. I want to go through it because I found issues with it when I tore it apart. First time I ever bought a used engine from somebody that's supposed to be good, rockers were crashing into the stands, the cam was wiped out. There goes $7,500. So, I mean, the bottom end's good, I'm sure, but there's shit I want to change that I've seen already. But he said that I kind of screwed myself by putting them cast iron heads on it, because now I'm going to take them back off, put the aluminum heads on it for him to build the headers, because them darts has probably got a raised exhaust runner. So the exhaust location ain't going to be the same as what the cast iron location is going to be. And probably the exhaust outlet on them Dart 360s, is bigger than a stock 454 head. Because I'm only got the little baby exhaust ports, where the Dart 360's got monsters, you know what I mean? So, exactly, Glenn. They're raised. So he said I could either measure it, and then kind of go that route. But he said he don't suggest it. Because I wanted the weight in there for, because we don't have the trance in it yet. So that's why I put them heads on it. And I figured that would help with the weight a little bit. So, but he said, best thing to do is just bolt them back on, the aluminum ones on there, even if I throw a couple bolts in them. And then that way he knows that everything's clearing the steering shafts and all the bars. And I'm just not quite sure if I want to have them in front of the tire or behind the tire. There's not much room behind the tire. And he said they're probably going to be like a 4-inch outlet. So that's pretty massive.
Yep. She gonna sound healthy.
Yeah, but he's like, well, do you want titanium? Do you want stainless steel? I'm like, this is a regular set of headers, dude. Because if I blow this thing up, I'm putting a small block in it. So the headers are going to be on eBay, and they're going to be specifically for that truck. So, but he told me anywhere from 12 to 1,500 to build them, and so I'm going to make him a deal if he goes for it. I think he will. He owes me a windshield, which is going to be like probably $300 to $350. So I'm going to see if I can get away with giving him $1,000 and I'll fix the windshield when I fix it. He ain't got to worry about it. Just do your chassis shit that you're doing and then build the headers for me. Because he bought a bunch of shit off when I put a bunch of car parts on Marketplace. He was building a little Rat Rod S10, but it's got an old body on it. So he needed a shifter and fuel lines, and I sold him them drop spindles that we bought that you went and got for me. So all that shit. So he's going to plumb the brake lines for me and get the brakes going on the truck for that stuff. So that's pretty awesome. Hook the line lock up, do all the brake lines. I mean, everything's there. You just got to run the lines. So, and I kind of want them hid to where he says, well, you don't want to run them on the bottom side of the chassis in case it does what it used to do and stand on his bumper, come down and smash the brake lines. So you have to run them on the side. So he knows what he's doing. But yeah, but until we get that truck out there the first time, it's going to be, scary, I think. I'll probably be like a little girl just going like 40, 50 mile an hour and only giving it quarter throttle until I get used to it. Yeah, right. If it don't scare the shit out of me, I don't want it. Yeah, like back by the rack. Oh, you're talking about the exhaust, huh? Yeah, that's what you're talking about, the exhaust, Mike. Yeah, I thought about there's a lot more room up there. And I think it'd be easier to get to, like changing plugs with forward-facing headers than the type that kind of come down and kind of spider down and come out the side. You know how they used to put, because I think if you went behind the tire, it would look like, remember how the old gasser headers looked? How they used to come up and then they'd curve back around and then down.
Kind of like the headers that's on that mid-engine S10 that Josh has.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So that would fit like that. Them headers look like they would fit like a Tri-5,
like his 55 Chevy.
Yeah, something like that. But that's got the gasser look. Yeah. Gasser headers. Next, there's not much room from the back of the fender, or from the wheel well to the door. Yeah, fender well headers. But yeah, I think that's probably the right move, is to go in front of the wheel too. But yeah, I kind of wanted to wait till after Christmas to get it done, but he's talking middle of November, because he still does. He runs heavy equipment for. He does all the road work, and they just put in a parking lot and all that shit where they were building this big school and all that shit. Hey, Chuck, what's going on, buddy?
So
projects. So he's pretty busy. So he said they're slowing down now. He said so mid-November, and he'd like to knock everything out then, including the header. So that gives me what? What's today? The 1st. 14 days to come up with $1,000.
Yeah, stand up.
While your chair ain't comfy?
No, no, it's a stand for a motocross. Yeah, it's a motocross bike stand. So it's aluminum, and that has just a thin rubber pad here. No, you can't see that.
I seen it. Put
That's what
zoomies
you
on it, huh?
Do what?
Oh, Mark said put zoomies on it. I know we got I got the front loaded on the trailer last night. And I tell you what, that damn thing's heavy. I need to make some modifications to it. It's got the original stone. Oh, yeah. Damn, that's steel?
No, it's aluminum.
Or yeah. How would you have one of them in your bathroom for?
Man, that's the same reason why I got this in the bathroom.
Oh shit. Turbo under the bed, carburetor in the shitter.
Yep.
You better get a home invasion. They'll be taking. They'll have to hunt like Easter eggs in your house to find all your hot rod parts.
Be all right. I got a pump shotgun. I got a pistol. I'm good. Yeah, I got a factory Corvette saw blade wheels in the dining room. I got electric fan with a tin shroud on the dog's cage. I got headers underneath the fucking bed. The turbo sitting next to the bed. Fuel pressure regulator on my mini fridge here in the room.
You got an intake too?
Yep, there's an intake in there too. That performer intake.
Oh yeah, yeah. Lloyd said he had fender wall headers on his S10. When I was building that white S10, was gonna build that white S10 for that I got from Josh. I was gonna use them. Can't remember the name of them. But they were a pretty badass set of headers for an S10. But they come up high and then they drop down and kind of snaked in. So I thought about trying to have the headers go around the chassis and then come underneath like long tubes. But am I really going to be driving it on the street?
Yeah.
I mean, because they left all the wiring for the tail lights and all that shit. Headlight mounts are all there. I mean, it wouldn't be shit to put a headlight, on a rocker switch and tail lights, and then hook up, oh man, zoomies aren't good for NA. You need something that's scavenging. Yeah, that valve covers that we got for that big block's already got the nipple for the vacuum pump too. That's awesome. I'm trying to get that low mount alternator system off of Papatron. He's got that low mount alternator bracket shit that he bought for Jack when he had the big block in it. I told him I'd like to get that off him.
I think you need to take a ride in Jack Black since he's got that turbo set up in it.
I think I heard Josh saying in his video that he was tearing it down, putting head gaskets or something in it, and head studs or some shit, or head bolts. I think he slipped up and said something.
I don't know. I've only seen his videos, so.
Because when it left it did the wheelie. I know he put an anti-roll bar in it. But
yeah, that's the only thing I knew that he did.
Out. In the video, he said it would leave and then it would cut out, shut off. But hell yeah, man, if we're on the street, that truck, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you seen him at the track when he hit second gear, his head went back and he was starting to move. Yeah, they deserve it, man. They struggled with that truck for years.
I know that truck's been a fucking curse.
Yeah, but they deserve it, man. I'm happy for them.
Well, I mean, at least they finally went to something that they can overcome. I mean, like with the big block build, they didn't know how to really mess around the big block. But Josh knows those fucking LS motors. He can just like that. And you can see it. I mean, in what, a month, 2 months, that truck went from having fucking issues, can't even do what, 12, 13 seconds down the quarter, and now it's fucking doing wheelies on the street and shit.
Yeah. But even the junkyards, they're starting to get keen to everybody running LSs now.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch that, Glenn. I
I didn't catch that either.
he had some safeties that were on the tune that he thought he might have had on to why it was cutting out, but it must be leaking fluid or something. I don't know. I talked to him a little bit on Messenger, but he never said nothing about. I just hope they can keep it together long and find a good bottom end for it, and then keep it together. That way, Puppetron can get a good season out of it, have fun, instead of going to one race and then having to tear the fucking thing down and rebuild it. That sucks. I felt bad for him, man. After all the countless fucking hours that they got into that truck, trying to make it work and do this, but like Josh knows what he's doing. I don't know. It ran 550s in a G body with the old setup that was in there, Mike. But he never dynoed it. I'm hoping for for at least 800. I mean, them heads are some pretty bad boys. I got to pick the right camshaft because I don't know. I was on that Richard Holdner live video that he did, and I asked him. I said, "Do you think that the Dart 360 heads are too big for a 508, big block Chevy?" And he said, "No." He said they're not too big. So, because some people think that that's too big of a head for the cubic inch that I'm running, but even Phil, a buddy of mine that works over at the machine shop, he said you just got to pick the right camshaft for it, to make it work. But I was doubting myself on that shit. You know what I mean? The guy seemed trustworthy that I bought the shit off. He showed me receipts, fresh out of the machine shop, and then I was going to take it to my buddy at the machine shop and have him go through it. Make sure that the valves ain't bent and the guides are good. So I'd hate to get out there and drop a valve or something, on the first couple passes or something from something stupid. For me buying somebody else's junk off a marketplace, like I just said earlier about I wouldn't let my boy do, but here I am doing it. You know what I mean? But fuck, it saved me $3,000 versus a set of brand new AFR, 325s. They want almost $6,000 for the ones with the titanium valves, shit in it, and all that. They're expensive. Or the Dart 345s is what I was looking at, or the AFR 345s. So, you pick this shit up, for $3,000. So, 2,500. But then he wanted, he still got to charge, even with the discount that I can get, you're still looking at, he still got to pay through his work. He said probably about $600 to tear them down. And you can't Magnaflux aluminum head. You gotta static check them for cracks. So he said about $600 to go through them and check everything out and do a new valve job on them. And he said you don't know. I mean, if the receipt could have been. I never did look at a date on the receipt. It could have been because Jason knows the guy at JW Race Cars, my chassis guy. He says, "Fuck Kirby." He said that guy hasn't had nothing running in 15 years. I'm like, what? And that's what kind of made me think, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? he said he's got a Merlin or a Big Chief motor, and which I seen on the receipts, shit getting done for a Big Chief motor. And then, I get these heads. Well, if he hasn't had nothing running in 15 years, how old are these heads? You know what I'm saying? And how long have they been sitting? Are the seals dried up and for the oil seals? I don't know. Endless circle of shit going through my mind, but one step at a time, man. Is all we can do is put one foot in front of the other and go for it.
Yep.
One of these days it'll be done. Mr. Grady's in his Z. What's going on, Mr. Grady? Glenn said it makes good hot rod or good content. Yeah, but it gets expensive. I wish I had that kind of money just to throw away.
Well, I'm telling you, the Powerball is up to $1 billion.
I know Jenny bought a couple tickets, bring home from work. I think it's kind of stupid. Why don't they lower the odds a little bit? Let people win a couple million here and there.
I'm playing tomorrow. I got a few bucks. I'll go throw at it.
Oh, no shit, Mike. Awesome. Hell yeah. Well, don't be surprised if I'm in your messenger, Mike, getting some advice on some camshafts. I tell you, them heads are nice. I mean, and I'm struggling with what intake to buy. I wanted to, that new Wilson ported Super Victor 2, it's called. That's a pretty nice intake for the big block Chevy 9.8 deck. And so I was thinking about that, but then I watch Engine Masters all the time, and they did a shootout on big block Chevy intakes and on a 540. And the best intake out there for the square port, it was a Brodex. The Hive intake has got like a turtle in the bottom of it, of the plenum, that kind of shoots the fuel or directs the fuel. Good. All right, Grady. Well, don't do yourself too hard, buddy. I know I've been burning mine. On that 509, the dyno videos there, Mike? Did you ever get your trans figured out? Yeah, I had a guy, a friend from the Thumb, his buddy offered to buy my motor out of the El Camino, give me decent amount of cash and a 358 short block. I get to keep my heads, intake, carburetor, distributor, all my brackets, all that bullshit. He just wants the short block. And for his roundy round car. So
nice.
I don't know if it's like, do I do that? Because I'm looking for another engine because we're getting the one from Dave. It's a 400 small block, completely stock. We were going to put in the El Camino just to cruise it. But I was looking for another engine to build for something for Jenny. And I think that'd be a perfect, it'd be like Tyler's 355. Basically, the only difference is it's bored 40 over instead of 30 over. But it's got HP rods in it, forge crank, and SRP pistons, all forged. It's a forged bottom end 358. I get that and some cash. So I told him, I said, man, you believe it or not, I got 12 grand wrapped up into that engine. Of course, a lot of it's in the heads and shit too. You know what I mean? But, I can't, the money situation is like, man, I really could use that money to fund the Blazer project. And then I get to keep the AFR heads too, to boot, and my intake distributor, everything else, so I'd have a, 358 to build for Jenny. So I'd like to find a G body for her, Cutlass or Regal or something like that. Even an old Grand Prix or something, I'd like to find a Regal.
Well, I'll send you the info. I sent it to Josh. A friend of mine sent me a message. Her husband is selling his 78 or 79 Cutlass, the square front end.
Yeah.
I forget what motor it's got in, but it's got a gold motor from the 70s, and it don't have the factory motor in it.
So it was like a 350 Rocket.
Yeah. He was having he had somebody put a alarm system on it, and something happened with the wiring where it caught fire. So the engine harness caught fire, but he already bought a painless wiring harness to put on the car. It just hasn't been done yet. There's something else. It wasn't major though, but he's got it for sale, 1,700 best offer with the title. With the title.
How's the body on it?
Body, it needs a good power washing. I think it's got from the pictures, it looks like it's got some moss growing on it.
Well,
but as far as rust, I don't see any rust. I haven't seen the car in person yet. I was going to go see it this week. I don't know. Here, let me get on here and look at this conversation.
Yeah. I'm going to run and go grab me a water right quick. Hold on. Oh. Oh, shit.
So that's me sending you pictures.
All right.
It's a 78 Cutlass. It's a 72 350. Uh-oh. Phone's going to die.
So is mine.
What happened was, I'll read it to you here in a second when I get done sending this last picture. Okay, well, there's a couple of them, but it's still got a full interior. Says it needs a windshield, has a new starter to go on, it just hasn't been put on. Has the painless. Said that it burnt from the engine harness all the way to the fuse block. fuse box, so that's why they got the painless.
Yeah, it looks like the back bumpers got the little squat going on. Some rust in the rear quarters. But for a drag car, race car, that's just weight reduction, right?
um, here's what how the conversation went. She says it's a 1978 Cutlass Supreme with a 1970 350 gold block with Headman headers. Have the painless wiring harness. Have a new starter just needs to be put on. Also, a new windshield. Asking 1,700 best offer. Said caught fire when a Bulldog alarm system was installed. It burnt to the fuse box, so it ordered a new painless wiring harness for it along with a new starter. He just has no one to help him, and due to my health, I can't do it anymore. That's her talking about her husband.
So probably
it says from my husband. Tell the guy, the last mechanic I had working on that motor, dumbass started spray painting it black, but you can still see some gold on it. That's why the guy quit working on it because I told him not to paint it.
yeah, that's definitely an Olds. Probably 350 rocket.
Yeah, it's 72 350, so it's a 350 rocket.
Them are actually pretty good engines.
I mean,
Yeah, Lloyd. That's usually when the bumpers start to sag like that. The back frame rails are probably a little crusty.
oh, I know. I've owned G bodies. I know that's the first thing I look for when I go to look at one.
Body mounts.
The body mounts and then the rear frame horns.
Yeah, or the bumper bolts up.
Yep. Well, they start rusting out right there at the bottom of those, right before the bumper, and they'll rust all the way over the rear hoop, the whole rear frame.
Drop down like this because the bottoms are rotted.
Yep.
Yeah, Tyler got lucky on his car. I mean, well, he traded a big ass Jeep. It had 35s on it. It was lifted. It was a YJ, like a Cherokee. It was pretty badass. But
the Cherokee, you talking about the regular Cherokee, the Grand Cherokee?
No, the regular Cherokee.
The square Cherokee, the four-door ones, those are XJs.
Or yeah, that's what it was, XJ.
Yep.
I'll show you a picture of it.
The YJ is the 90s ugly Jurassic Park Jeep Wranglers.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't that.
I'm not a Jeep guy, but I know Jeep stuff.
Now, he was big into Jeeps when he first got his license and before he got into the hot rods. And he really
See you, Glenn. Have a good night, Glenn.
All right, Glenn. Take care, buddy. Before he got into the wanting to go fast shit, he was into the Jeeps big time. Come on, you stupid slow son of a bitch.
Don't talk about me that way. I can hear you.
But yeah, we traded a running, driving, badass 4-wheel drive for his money at a 350 out of an IROC in it. And I ain't got the pictures no more. Shit. Oh well. He'll take my word for it.
Lloyd, you talking about the Malibu?
His money. Oh yeah, his frame.
Lloyd's Malibu. Are you talking about the Malibu that has the palm tree sticker on the back of it, the white one?
He's only got one though.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, he sold that tubbed out one.
That's the one I'm thinking about. That was the first time I went up to see Josh and Papatron.
Oh, they were when he was over at Papatron's putting floors in it and stuff.
I don't know what they were doing to it, but he had it up on the lift. Yeah, when Josh was making that video, a couple days ago. Well, it was about Thursday or Friday, probably the same day you hit 2,000. I saw in the background of his video he had a black Malibu in his shop.
Yeah, that was
I
his.
mean,
You know who
yeah, I
that
know
was?
it's a buddy of his. That's what I immediately I just stopped the video and I took a picture of it. I said, I got questions. Yeah, Lloyd, that's what I was talking about. It was 2 years ago, so that makes sense. I heard that you did tell that.
Josh
But
did a
I got
video at the track with him and his buddy with the Blazer, and
yeah.
then his other buddy had that Malibu there, and they couldn't get the Malibu running right that day.
Oh,
And
that's that one? I got
yeah,
you. I got you.
yeah,
That makes sense. I got it now.
yep.
He was even talking to him on the video too, said just bring him by, I'll take care of you. We'll get it running.
Yeah, that's his uncle friend.
Lloyd, I'm telling you, man, that when I was there that day and I saw it up on the lift, I asked permission to take pictures of it before I did, but I definitely eye banged your Malibu that day. I didn't touch it, but I was up underneath her. I was looking at the rear end.
He was all up in it.
Right. She was pole dancing.
He was like a bicycle with no seat, all up in it.
Dude, I'm telling you, the Malibu was my favorite G body. I don't know why. I mean, there's way cooler G bodies than just a regular ass Malibu. But
I like my favorite is the like Ty's Monty, like that was
the CL,
my
yeah,
favorite. But for some reason, I've been on a kick lately, and like after Jenny told me she wanted to race and do this, and I just been going out of my way every time I go on Marketplace to search. I'm searching for Buick Regal T types or old grandma car T type, something with the V6 in it. Just something about them Regals, man. You don't see them anymore.
no,
I mean, yeah, you're a Grand National at a car show, but it's worth $100,000. But you don't see any of them old like 84 to 81 Regals, even the 78, 79 Regals. They're all fucking gone. So I don't know what it is, but just the old Buick, I like them. Or the Cutlass. I like the way the interior is on the Cutlass, like the dash setup and shit.
yeah,
I like the gauge cluster on the Cutlasses.
yeah, because it's longer. It goes more towards the center of the dash.
Yeah, and they always come. Every Cutlass I've seen that has bucket seats in the center console always has a factory tack dash in it. It has the little gas gauge in the middle and a tack on one side and the speedometer. And I don't know, it just Ty's money is just even his money is just plain. You know what I mean? But
A buddy of mine, he had I want to say it's an 85 or 86 Regal. It was baby blue. It was T-top. He had the dark blue crushed velour interior, but he took the lightning rods out of a hearse,
yeah,
put it in there, and he had a Grand National rear end in it, and he had I think it was just a turbo type. I don't think it was a Grand National motor, but that little thing, that was.
All right, Mike. Thanks, buddy. I'm gonna check that out after this live. Yeah, Lloyd, you got a lot of parts still too. I might have a set of seat brackets. What'd you do? Bust one of yours? Because we got them seats from Josh, and Tyler took the driver's seat out, and he's taking the passenger seat out and putting another Kirky in there. So we got them red G body buckets for them cars. If he don't plan on ever putting it back, to factory, interior. I told him
Factory.
either, yeah, because I told him either you need to put the one bucket back in, a factory bucket, or buy another Kirky. I said, it just looks retarded with one seat of one and one of the other. He said, I don't give a shit. I guess I shouldn't either. It ain't my car, but that kid, I told him, I said, you need to get I'm still after his ass about his brakes. Hey, Joe, what's going on, buddy?
So, Joe.
Mr. Joe Royal Garage. He's got a badass old hot rod. He's doing a Chevy 2. He's rebuilding it from the ground up. You basically can say he did everything to it.
Got in trouble by the old lady. I think that's the reason why I like my El Camino so much. It has that same front end of the Malibus I like.
Yeah. Doing good up here, Joe. How you doing down there? Staying out of trouble?
Hopefully not.
I haven't seen any recent updates on the old Chevy 2. The Nova.
Chevy Nova?
This man's a master of all. Or jack of all, master of all. Did a hell of a good job. He ain't scared to tackle rust and fabricate shit in to make it work. Shit, he did OBS trucks. He's into that Chevy 2. Got a beautiful old hot rod, like the ZZ Top type shit.
Yep.
Painted the rear axle today. Yeah, I went and got some brake clean and started cleaning a little bit on my Blazer. I couldn't believe how dirty it was under there.
Yeah, Lloyd, my Oko is a 79, so it still has the same front end as the earlier edition. I don't like the quad light Malibus. I don't know why. I don't like them. They look too basic, too cookie cutter. I've had G bodies. I've had G bodies since I was 16 too. I've had 3 Monties, 4 Cutlasses, and now this El Camino, which is, if you want to get technical, it's still considered an A body, not a G body, but it's a G body.
Camino?
Yeah, I got people arguing on these fucking G body things that from 78 to 80, they weren't officially G bodies yet. They were in that gray area where it was still considered an A body.
Bullshit. It's a G body.
That's what. Listen, I don't.
A bodies quit. They quit making A bodies in 76 was the last when the El Camino had the bumper, them 2 round taillights in the bumper. They look like the old Lagunas and shit. They had that kind of front end. That was the last year of the A bodies because mine's an A body. The A body is a bigger platform. They even because I thought I could use my old brake calipers and stuff to put on ties because a lot of shit from G body to A body are supposed to interchange, like steering boxes, control arms, and
the S series too. The S10s, it's all interchangeable too. Those
S10 and Monte Carlo or G bodies, yes, but my A body, the calipers and everything were bigger.
Oh, I know.
They wouldn't work on there, so they quit making A bodies in 70. I think 77 was the last year for the El Camino Malibu, which I liked the Malibus back then. They look like my dad had a Laguna back in the day. They had the louvers on the side. That was the only difference. It had louvers on it, had ground effect, had a chin spoiler on it, but had swivel bucket seats, buckets console. I liked that car. It was cool, but I didn't like the El Caminos of that year. But I liked the El Caminos. I didn't. the El Caminos 68 through 72 is the El Caminos I like. 65 to, but
Yeah, I like the old quad light front ends on those A bodies, like the Chevelles and the El
Yeah.
Caminos and stuff. Like
Yeah.
the old what was the name of that movie? Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights. His dad Chevelle. I like that.
oh, that's
That's my
68.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my favorite style Chevelle.
Yeah. Yep. Old Laguna. Yep,
Yep.
them Lagunas were cool, man.
See, even Lloyd said they say that about the A body and the G body stuff.
Yeah, and I think they're full of
It's
shit.
stupid. It is stupid. I've owned G bodies since I was 16. I know it's a G body. Don't fucking tell me anything different. It's a
Yeah.
different.
Go ask Big Chief.
It's a different chassis. It's not the same.
Go ask Big Chief. He'll even tell you the El Camino that Flip had is a G body, doing the G body shuffle. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yep. That's basically what mine is. The slut.
Yeah, that's yeah. My dad's car did too. I mean, it was a nice car. It was like a bait. Well, I don't know if it was a baby blue, but like a lighter blue with a white half vinyl top on the back with the louvers, the blue louvers and shit. It was pretty cool. That's an A body.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to jump off here. My phone's 5%, so
All right, yeah, we've been going for what?
almost 2 hours for me. Yeah.
We'll probably jump back on this weekend. I think I'm gonna jump off here too. And the old lady, she's got to work at AM again, so I'll spend a little bit of time with her anyway. So we'll probably catch everybody later. The front brakes covered at different size bearings. Yep, from A body to from G body to A body. Yes, sir. I found that out this summer the hard way because I was going to give Ty that. You too, Lars.
See you, Grady.
Mr.
Yep.
Grady.
All right. As always, Herb.
Yep. I'll see you on the next one, Mr. MF Warrior.
Motherfucking fat boyer. All right.
All right, later, guys. Have a good one.